Good evening everyone, this is Duncan Warnock from Tax Accountants. I'm just going to show you a quick video on creating an invoice in Xero. So we'll see how to generate one quickly, and we'll give you an insight as to the different templates you can create for when you produce your invoice as well. Okay, so let's assume we're already logged in to Xero successfully. So to create an invoice, what we need to do is go to Accounts, then click on the menu option Sales. Okay, that brings up the sales screen. To create an invoice, we can work our way down to the new drop down box, select invoice, and we've got the new invoice screen. Now let's assume that we have sold some services to ABC. Let's say it's furniture. It's the date of the invoice is July 1, 2015. In our invoice settings, we've set up a due date 7 days after the invoice due date, so it's calculated July 8, and that the invoice number is automatically generated based on the next available number and the prefix I should say, INV. Okay, so in this case, ABC Furniture sent us a purchase order with a reference number 1234, so I've inputted that, and the description is consulting. Let's see if we've got the right spelling. That looks okay. Quantity 1, price is $100 ex GST. The general ledger account is sales. I can just put SA, brings up 200 sales. The GST is applied by selecting the tax rate GST on income. In this case, we don't need to specify a region. Okay, so what we're showing here is the tax code is tax exclusive, which means that the unit price is tax exclusive, and then GST is added onto that. So $100 times 10% equals $10 plus 100 equals 110, and you can see the total 110 there. Alright, now one field we haven't covered so far is branding. This really impacts the look and feel of your invoice, and there's quite a bit of customization you can do. Now in this case, we're just going to use the standard template that is the default for Xero, and what I've done is I've just added a little bit of information into that standard template, including a logo and a company name of Koala Pty Limited. But in Xero, in this case, this demo company, you can see there are multiple branding templates set up. So depending on which one we choose, we can influence the format of the invoice, and even after we have generated the invoice, we can come back, change the branding and change the formatting and print it out again or email it again as needed. Over here is a great little option. Sometimes you may want to attach a file as well. It might be some supporting documentation for the sale of goods or services. Alright, so we're pretty happy now. We've done the new invoice. Now in some cases we just may want to save it and get approval from our boss to approve the invoice before it gets formally generated. In this case, we're pretty happy. We're happy to approve it straight away, so we'll do that. Voila, invoice 1 is approved. We can do many things, but one of the things we can do, we can print, this is a PDF, and mark it as sent. So we'll just open it up right now. And we're able to email that, which is great. As you can see, we've got Koala Pty Limited. Just excuse the export PDF stuff on the side there. It's a tax invoice. In this case, the data hasn't been set up properly in Xero. It's a demo company for ABC Furniture. Normally would have the name and address and those details of that entity. But for the purpose of illustrating this, that doesn't matter too much, as long as you do it in real life. It's got the details on the invoice, the due date. It also offers some payment options and a payment advice down the bottom. Alright, so that's the invoice. Go back to Xero with the invoice options here. If we were creating some extra invoices, we could copy this existing one and create another one and amend it as needed. In this case, we can also do an email of the invoice. I'm going to email this to myself. Let's just pretend this email address is for the customer. I've got some default information, text in terms of the invoice, all ready to go. In this case, I'm going to include the PDF file as an attachment, and I'm going to send myself a copy, even though it is my email address I'm sending it to as well. But let's pretend Duncan Warnock as maxtax.com.au is actually the customer email address. Click send. Voila, email sent successfully. Very clear, you've got an audit trail that the invoice has been sent to the customer, so if there's any confusion down the track, it'll be quite obvious that you did send it on the day that you think you did. Alright, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go back, we've done the invoice. I just want to show you some branding settings for the invoice. So I'm going to go into settings, then into general settings. We're going to work our way down in general settings to invoice settings. Now what you noticed before was the logo was Koala Pty Limited with a beautiful picture of koala. So if we did want to edit that, we can easily edit that template. We can change details, we can even change the name of the template, the margins, we can shift the logo alignment from left to right, show taxes as exclusive or inclusive. We can also change our contact details as needed on the invoice, and we can also define things like our payment terms. So let's assume we won't change that. We'll cancel that. And I was mentioning before there's some other branding options. We've got those here, special projects and very orange invoice. You can see the special projects has a beautiful orange for use. So let's just assume that we made a mistake, not that we'd ever do that, and we used the wrong invoice template to generate the invoice. There we go, we're going to go into our invoices. So this one's been approved and hasn't been paid yet since I sent it a few minutes ago. I'm going to do basically do a fine for this guy. I'm just going to do a 2 because I know it's ABC Company, sorry, ABC Furniture, so I'm expecting it to be at the top. So I did a sort on the 2 and double click on the invoice. I want to edit this invoice, not happy it had the koala on it. So I'm going to change it from standard, special projects, and update it. And now if I display that invoice, you should see an orange on it. There we go. So you can see the formatting is quite different. So there is a bit of flexibility there, some different content in that template. So obviously you can customize the template to suit your needs, and even if you make a mistake when you first generate the invoice with the template you need, you can go back and change it later and fix everything up. Alright, I hope that was useful. Thanks for listening and happy new financial year. Thanks very much. Goodbye.